Okay, so we're live. We're recording. So now I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Do you all have questions or anything that you're struggling with that you want to talk about? Anything you need help with? Anything that's going well?
First, I want to say, do you all follow anybody who's at the leadership retreat?
I do, but I haven't paid attention to their pictures.
Oh my gosh. They've got these robes with their monogrammed initials on them and these bags, and that's where we
I haven't been following anything.
Posting about it. I haven't looked at the news feed. I know Lindsay's there, and there's some other people that are there. I was like this close to getting there, but next year.
Yeah, you need to be there.
Y'all will be there next year too. It's in September next year, so we got plenty of time.
Yeah, September's doable.
Anything that's on y'all's mind that y'all want to ask or talk about? Invites, dream team list.
I know last week I talked about the burst thing. I haven't done my burst yet, so I don't know where everybody else is at with their little bursts or whatever. So, but maybe just trying to determine, like, as far as when we make our list and we're going to do our bursts, as far as invites for the opportunity or whatever. I'm trying to think. I guess just trying to figure out, like, how to determine what type of invite's best for what person.
I would say Kelsey and I were talking about this earlier today. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud and I'm brainstorming right now, honestly. I don't really know what the best answer is. And I don't really think there's a best answer, honestly. But this is just my thought process, so I'll just kind of share with you guys what I was thinking when I was talking to her. Like, on one hand, I think direct invites are awesome because, you're getting to the point, and maybe, it'll save time and you won't feel like you're wasting as much time. But at the same time, 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 6 or however many the actual ratio is, I've heard both. 1 out of 10 people say no. So I think more people are going to be more likely to respond to do the Coaching at a Glance group if you just, or whatever it is that you're sending them an indirect invite to. Like, I've been sending people my webinar and asking them for their opinion on that instead of sending them to the Glance group. Or you can even, I know the webinar's long, so you can also send like a video. Like, there's a video that I made about the coaching opportunity that I think it's in the Dropbox. If it's not, I can send it to you guys. But you can send that. And again, this is me brainstorming and processing out loud, so you guys can tell me what you think. So I just kind of told Chelsea, like, if it's someone that has not directly expressed interest in coaching, it may be best at first to send the indirect approach, because then it's like, I would say, I've never had anybody tell me no, actually, when I do the indirect approach. Now, I send it and not everyone listens to it. Sometimes I'm chasing them, but a lot of them do. And I'm just saying all this to say that I think unless they've already expressed interest, if they've already expressed interest, I would say direct is probably the best way to go. But I'm almost starting to think that indirect can be better in certain situations because, like I said, more people are more likely to say yes to the indirect and reviewing it for you and just getting their honest opinion on it. And then that way it puts it in front of them. That's the point that I was trying to get. Whereas if they say no, they're not interested, they're not going to see any kind of video, they're not going to hear any stories. So at least with the indirect, it puts the story in front of them and kind of plants the seed and makes them think. And even if they don't say yes right away that they're interested, they may come back to you later and be like, hey, I was just thinking about that webinar or video, whatever, that you sent me. And, I'm interested in doing it or something like that. Because what I do when I send someone, whether it's the webinar or video, I add them to the Coaching at a Glance group, I think you guys already know how to do that. You just compliment them. and you tell them, you know, something like, I love your passion for what you do, and I've always admired that about you, blah, blah, blah. You know, I would love to get your honest opinion on X, you know, whatever it is, video, webinar, whatever, and let me know what you think. And then just ask them after that, you know, like, when do you think you'll have definitely watched it? And then that way I can, you know, follow up with you and just get your opinion. Then once I follow up, I've just been like, you know, once they've said that they watched it, I'll just ask them, like, you know, do you have any tips on how we can make it better? Like, what's your honest opinion? What do you think? Then I'll let them, some people have sent me like paragraphs of all these things that I can fix with my webinar, which I'm just like, okay, thanks. That was my first one. Thanks. But thanks. That's nice of you. I appreciate it. I don't really let it bother me though. I just think it's funny. So then after they send me their paragraph or whatever it is, then I'll just say, you know, like, I really appreciate the feedback, and I appreciate you looking over it, blah, blah, blah. I know that you're really happy with what you're doing right now, and that's what makes me blessed to know you. But do you maybe know someone else who isn't feeling like as fulfilled in what they're doing that I could reach out to about the opportunity, and then see what they say. And then sometimes they might say, well, I am interested. Sometimes they'll say, well, I don't know anybody. I'll think about it. I'll keep my eyes open. Sometimes they don't respond, but that's kind of the way that I do it. And then if I say that to them, depending on the person and the situation, I may say, you know, honestly, like, have you thought about it? Like, I know you love what you do, but have you ever considered doing it before? And maybe just say, like, why you think they'd be good at it. So you can really go either way with that. And that's just my thought process again. So I know that was a really long answer, but that's just kind of what I've been like pondering in my head today about which one really is better. So better than that, I don't really know what's best. I was talking to Lindsay about it the other day, and she said the whole reason was because there's people that are afraid to approach. I was like, gosh, forever when I became a coach, like 9 months, I was afraid to ask people. So that. She didn't really say that one was better than another, but that was just kind of my thought processing behind it all. What do you guys think?
I think that yeah, you're right. It depends on if it's somebody who's expressed interest previously. I think for me, sometimes, like with the Glance group, I had went through a little burst where I invited a bunch of people to the Glance group, and a lot of people, I did an indirect invite for most people, because a lot of it was like the people on my dream team who I hadn't reached out to because I was scared to reach out to them, and they hadn't expressed interest, or maybe I've done a direct invite like 6 months ago, and they were like absolutely not, or they just totally ignored me, and then I figured, well, I'll just try the indirect, and, you know, it worked where it got their attention. They were able to, you know, join the group and everything, but then they not always followed through. So, or some of them were like, oh, it's fine. It was great. Or like, oh, you know, like they wouldn't really give me many recommendations or ideas or really much feedback at all. So,
Well,
I don't know.
This is just an idea. You could go back to those people that have done the Glance group and just tell them, like, you know, I'm so thankful that, you know, you sat in on this group for me before, and like, you know how much I admire your opinion, blah, blah, blah. There's this new webinar, a new video, or whatever you want to send to them, and just say, like, I would love to get your opinion on this as well. Send it, you know, same process, see what they say back. And then, I mean, you could go one or two ways. Like, you know, based on what they say, you could always just mention, like, you know, I know before that you told me that you weren't interested in the opportunity, but, you know, I think that coaching would help you because X, Y, and Z, like, you know, whatever goal or need that they may have, or why you think it may be a good fit for them, or why they would enjoy it. And then just say, like, have you, like, reconsidered it at all? You know, I don't want to, like, you can say, like, I'm not trying to, like, what's the word? Push you or whatever, some word like that. Like, I'm not trying to, like, bring it up too much, but it was really on my heart, and I really just thought of asking you, and I was kind of afraid. My words are not coming out right tonight. I've been all over the place today, but kind of something along those lines. I forgot what the second thing I was going to say was. Damn it. Lost it. What were we talking about? We're talking about the Coaching at a Glance group and what to say back to those people that didn't really say it.
The webinar, inviting them to the webinar instead,
Yeah. I thought that there
or
was,
like afterwards to follow up.
yeah. I thought there was something else that I was going to say, but there was. I'll think of it if there was. That's probably what I would try. And I mean, stories in front of them, and if they're not interested, I mean, they may be saying that they're not interested and they really are, and they may come back, and you just never know. I swear there's
Because I have like my group of people who like I really want to join, and I know they'd be awesome, and I know they want to, but they just have these reservations. And then I have my other group of people where the list is much longer, where I know that they'd be awesome, but they have no interest. I've mentioned it. They like shoot down Shakeology like crazy, and they're like, oh, I don't do shakes, or all that stuff about Shakeology that they don't like, or they don't like working out at home, or whatever, little bits and pieces of negativity they send back as to why they would be a good coach or why they wouldn't want to do it. So I have a list of people who like are really awesome, and I know they would be awesome at coaching, but for whatever reason. So I have kind of like my two little lists that I'm in my head working off.
With the people that are just completely skeptical about it, just continue like forming the relationship with them, continue keeping in touch with them, seeing how they're doing. Just because they say no and have all these reservations now doesn't mean it'll always be a no. Like, usually the people that are the best take the longest to sign up, and everyone has hesitations. Like, I had a hesitation about Shakeology. I didn't want to do no dang shake. Like, I told Lindsay that. So I think if you ever get a message like that, like, definitely reach out to me or post in the group or whatever, and I can come up with a story for pretty much any objection that people can give you, and just kind of share something like that. And then with the people that have the reservations, like, what are the most, like, what are the things that you're hearing from them? Like, what kind of reservations? Is it money, time?
Mostly like, well, I think the biggest reservation is that like they wouldn't be good at it, or that they don't like the products, like the shakes, or but they've never tried them, so they don't know. They just say they're not shake people, or what I mean, they don't know, and or maybe they think it's like they have just predisposed ideas of what it is. So that's one. And then for like, it's funny because for the people who are skeptical, that's kind of like what it is. And then and money's always an objection for people who are skeptical, and for people because I have a few people who've told me that they've wanted to sign up, and money is always the objection, which means they're just not ready right now. And I know that they'll sign up eventually. It's just, for some, maybe it actually is that they literally can't afford to get started. But for others, I think if they're not willing to budget that at the moment because it's not a priority yet. So, so I would say those, just being skeptical and money, are the two biggest objections. Really, it's easy to get over the objection if somebody says, "Oh, they're still on their fitness journey," or that type of stuff. That type of stuff's pretty easy to come back at and explain that doesn't matter, and that that basically they can help others by their experiences, and we're all on a journey, blah blah blah. I mean, that's pretty easy to come back at and shoot down that objection pretty quickly. But it's more the money and just not believing in the products, I guess.
I'm gonna write, because I have 3 thoughts in my head. I'm gonna write them down before I forget. Hang on. Like I can forget stuff so easily. Okay. Okay, so I was going to give you an example of a story that you could share to the people that are skeptical about Shakeology or the company or whatever. And I know you probably didn't get a chance to check your messages yet, Mary, but I sent out 2 documents that I came up with earlier today. I'll screen share with you guys so that I can show you them. Hang on. Let's see. Where am I? I'm just going to show you where they are in Dropbox. I did like a major Dropbox overhaul today. So it's in sharing the business opportunity. I put together 2 documents. The first one I put together is coaching opportunity, frequently asked questions. So like all the questions, the most common questions that you might get when you share the opportunity, and then stories to share if you get an objection. And then the other one is how to share the business opportunity, like the steps to ask and what you say and blah, blah, blah. The one I'm going to talk about is like, these are different questions that people may ask you when you share it. How much will it cost? I put answers for like everything. How much will it cost? How am I going to learn all of that? What if I don't want to spend money on Shakeology? I don't have the time. I'm too busy. What is it that you do? I don't think I'm a great motivator or give good advice. I'll probably reach my own fitness goals. I'm not in shape, blah, blah, blah. I don't like post. Oh my gosh, it says posing. It's supposed to say posting. I don't like posting on Facebook that much. I'm trying to stay off social media, blah, blah, blah. And then I put stories in here to share of people that were feeling the same way when you get an objection, because it's really kind of just like challenge groups too. If we can just share a story with them of someone else who is feeling the same way and how they overcame it, then it really kind of opens their eyes to everything. So I was just gonna share you this, and then I can give you an example of what to say to the people that don't like shakes. And then I just put a note in here that after you share the story with them, just kind of ask them, if that makes them feel better about everything. And then based on what they say, like I might just say like, why don't you give it a shot? Or why don't you join our next Coaching at a Glance group / watch this video / watch this webinar / chat with my mentor Jess on the 3-way, whichever one you decide, so that you can learn about it more, just to make sure it's a good fit for you. So that's kind of what I say after I share the story. So there's just some examples in here. Someone that doesn't have enough time, a story about a busy mom. Not enough time, someone who's busy with work. Not enough money, just a general one. Not enough money for someone that's in college. Haven't reached my fitness goals yet, a story to share. Okay, that was it. But it's basically like the same principle for each story. So I kind of just start off asking like, did I ever tell you about a coach on our team who was feeling the same way? So in this case, with the people that don't like shakes, Mary, you could say, did I ever tell you about my friend Jess who was feeling the same way as you? And if they've already told you this and you haven't talked to them in a while, you can kind of circle back around to them and just say, hey girl, like, it was on my heart. I was thinking about you, or that's just my language, however you want to put it, in your words. It was on my heart, and I was just thinking about how we talked about coaching before. And I really just felt like, I was supposed to share something with you. But I wanted to share a story with you about my friend Jess that's a coach. And she was feeling the same way that you were before she started. She didn't want anything to do with Shakeology. She likes to eat her food. Like, she didn't want anything to do with any of that stuff. She was very skeptical about it. But after a few months, she, thought about it a little bit more and decided to give it a try because she really wanted to help people. And then she actually, found out that she loved it and she loved helping people. And then, she fell in love with everything. She became passionate about it. And then after about 1.5 years, she was able to quit her full-time job because of coaching, and then just kind of say, like, does that make you feel better? And then, like I said, kind of circle back around with this stuff up here and just say, like after you share it, like, you know, why don't you give it a shot, or why don't you join us at the next Coaching at a Glance group, or whatever it is, so we can see if it's a good fit for you or not. Does that make sense? Oh, something got on my desk. Does that?
Yeah, this is a really good resource, I think. I saw that you had sent some documents. I just didn't read them, but yeah, this is really good.
Good. I'm glad.
This is really helpful.
I realized after talking to a lot of you guys, since, you know, a lot of you are inviting people to coaching, that there are all these questions, and, you know, there's just like, these are things that I'm just like, it's ingrained in my mind to do, but that's just because of the amount of time that I've been doing this. And I realized, like, oh my gosh, well, these people, they don't have all this stuff in their mind like I do. So why not put it in a document? And, you know, there's of course things that are going to come up that aren't on the list, but I just kind of put a note in there and just said, you know, if you need other ideas, like, don't hesitate to reach out to me or post in the team page or whatever. The other suggestion that I wrote down that I was going to tell you about was, if you feel like there's people, like your, you know, your dream team list, and you feel like you said, half of it are people that have reservations, or the other half just aren't interested at all, I would say, I may have already told you this. I told someone this recently, but I don't remember who it was, because I might have said it more than once. I have bad memory sometimes. So anyway, I would just say that you could just reach out to more people that you haven't talked to before and send out more direct invites. That's really what I've been trying to do. Like, I have like my whole comprehensive contact list, and it's just like in an Excel spreadsheet. We're still screen sharing. I just realized that. I can show it to you guys. So this is my contact list. If it'll load. Okay, that's my bat and my forming people. That's not it. Okay. So this is it. This is my Facebook list. It's literally just like, I went through my, well, actually, I don't know if you remember, Mary, but there was like that 1 month where I had an assistant. She did this for me, but what she did, bless her soul, because I knew it probably took her a long time, she just went through my Facebook friends list and literally wrote everyone down there. And then I don't know how to do it, but somehow there's a way to sort and make it alphabetical.
Yeah.
I have no idea how, though.
You can go up to data, I think. Is it data? And then there's like a little filter or sort. Yeah.
But yeah, it's
So you
literally,
can do it, yeah.
it's just my list, and then here at the top I have the column that says invited. So this one is to a challenge group, which I should probably forget. So challenge invite, and then the other column biz invite. Oh. The ones that say not applicable, those are people that are on my list that are coaches. And then the X's are people that I have invited and what I'm to. So I literally just like go through this list. Like today, I think I was in the D section, because some of the other people like that I haven't invited yet, I'm still trying to form, that like literally haven't talked to them in like years. But I think I was like down. Yeah, I was down here. That was the last person I invited today, was Demetra. So
because I started to make a contact spreadsheet kind of like that. I haven't had a chance to put all my Facebook contacts. Maybe I should pay somebody to do it. I don't have that many Facebook friends, but I would say like 500. So it's still it'll take a while. I started to do that with one tab being contacts and the other tab being like Dream Team. But maybe would it make more sense to have everybody on one page, like you did, like with Facebook and then Twitter and like that? And then, I mean, do you have a separate like Dream Team list then too, like on Excel, and an Excel spreadsheet that you keep track of, like follow up with people on your Dream Team, like the different interactions you have with them?
I honestly don't keep track of that. I know that there are some people that do, like in notebooks or in a spreadsheet or whatever. Like I know my coach Whitney, she'll have like the person's name. I'm pointing to my screen so you guys can see it. Like she'll have the person, like their name up here, contact 1 and like the details underneath it of what they said or they talked about, and then contact 2. Oh, and I think she has a column up here too for like social media, like which social media source she met them on. So it's really about finding what works best for you. I'll show you what I do. I did have all my stuff on one spreadsheet before, but there's so many dang names on it that it overwhelmed me. So I kind of separated stuff. So I have a spreadsheet for all my prospects. That's just challengers though, challenge prospects. Then I have my contact list, and I have my BAT. What is in this folder? Oh, that's the 5 steps because I'm doing that every day, copy and pasting. And then I have my coach prospects master list. So these people, like this column right here, the bolded people, these are my dream team people. The other people on here, these are just people that I like thought of to maybe put on my dream team list, but I'm not really focusing on them right now. Like I may, if I decide I want to take someone off my dream team list, which I do sometimes, then I'll sub people in and out. But I just kind of like went through my list one day and just like brainstormed like that. You don't have to do that though if you don't want to. Then I just have tabs on the bottom here, like people that are my Facebook friends that have expressed interest in coaching at some point in time. Instagram, these people didn't actually express interest. These are just people that I follow that I thought would make a good coach. These are people that told me they would do the webinar when I invited them. And this was my list. I have 2 of them, but because it got massive. But those are all the people that did the coaching at a glance group. And I kind of just put like the date and stuff up there of when they did it. And that's how I organize it.
Yeah, because I think if I could figure out a way to organize this where I could just go like sit down and boom, go to my list and just pick like 10 people that day to reach out to, that would be really helpful. So I think maybe, I mean, reaching out to some of the people that I've been reaching out to, but in addition, getting that organized to try it in efforts to reach out to new people. Yeah. Because I think I really need to start reaching out to new people because, you know, it's not that I'm not getting anywhere with the people that I've been reaching out to. However, I would like to sign a coach soon. So maybe, you know, the more people I reach out to, the better chances of somebody signing up, basically.
Exactly.
So
the higher the number, exactly what you just said. That's it. And I know that like the initial, well, hang on, let me say 2 things. I always think so many things at one time. Oh my gosh. I was lost. Oh, I was gonna say that I try to make it a point to invite someone new every day. It's like the indirect invite. I don't really have to like form, because I don't know, my warm up is pretty big because I try to keep in touch with people through Facebook and like their pictures and stuff. So there's a lot of people that I can just reach out to that I feel comfortable with. So I try to send out indirect invites every day to new people. And then I also make it a point to follow up with the old people throughout the week too. The other thing I was going to just say is that the organization, it's like, I think we're kind of the same this way, Mary. Like, I feel like we have a lot of similarities with our personality, but like, I am not, and I'm not saying that you're unorganized. I just know that I don't like organizing. I'm very OCD, but I'm not good at being organized. And honestly, like I've had to just like force myself to do it because I'm so scatterbrained and all over.
My stuff's all over the place. My stuff's always all over the place. I love to have things organized.
Yeah.
But it usually isn't.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does. I understand. Like I honestly, I think it was when I was going to Summit, like I took my laptop with me and was like, okay, I'm determined to get organized because I was so flippin' unorganized in every way, like with my prospect list, like with everything. It was so overwhelming that like I didn't even know where to start. And before I had that contact list, I would like get on my computer and I'm like, who the heck am I going to invite today? Like
that's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't know who to talk to. So Rieza, which was my VA, I don't think it actually took her that long because, it did take probably like a couple hours, but she said it didn't take as long as she thought it would. Like once she sat down and like start going, because all you really have to do is just pull up your friends list and start typing. So
Right.
I know the initial doing it is probably going to be painful, but it saves so much time in the long run. And I don't know, like,
Because at one point I had everybody written down on a notebook, but that was like when my list was like around 300 maybe. And I've since then added a few hundred friends in Facebook, and then, you know, of course, Instagram and Twitter, but mostly just Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, I just know that it's going to be, I think if I can sit down and do that, it's going to be so much easier to send invites to new people for challenges and for the opportunity.
Totally. I think it'll really help out a lot. Like one thing you could do in the meantime, and this is just a suggestion, but because I do this on Twitter, because my Twitter list, I haven't updated it since Rieza made it for me, and that was like months ago. So with Twitter, I just go through my followers and like message the most recent people that followed me. So I'm not saying to do the same thing on Facebook, but I'm just saying like you could go to your friends on Facebook and just, I don't know if you're this way, I'm this way. Like I can go through and look at my friends list or my followers on Twitter, and I can look at someone's face and remember if I messaged them or not. So I'm just saying that as an example, like maybe you could do that with your Facebook friends list. Just pull up your friends list and start thinking of the people that you could reach out to, and, you know, send a few of them a message a day. And I don't know, if you're like me, I can remember stuff visually like that. Like I can look at the person's
Mm-hmm.
I'll send them a message. I don't know. I can do that somehow. I'm weird.
I was looking at my Facebook friends and on the computer, because usually I'm on my phone, but on the computer, you know how it's like all set out and you can see everybody's little face.
Yeah.
I was looking at, I was like, who's that? Who's that? I don't even know who that is. I'm like, who is that person? Like, I don't really even know. I mean, obviously they're my friend on Facebook for a reason, so there must be some connection. And I was like, I better figure out what that connection is and utilize it for something good, because
Yeah.
it's like, it's a waste if I don't.
That's why I made the list, because I realized I have so many friends on Facebook. It's nuts. And half of them I haven't even reached out to, which is insane because I invite a lot of people. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get organized and get on this so that I can like you said, like it's like an unutilized resource if you're not, like if they're there and like you don't even know it.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, this person, I don't remember how I met them. Yeah. We have less than a minute left on this. Do you guys want to open a new meeting and ask any more questions, or y'all good for tonight? I'm down with whatever.
I'm good with whatever. Sorry, I talked a lot.
No. What do you guys think? Do you want to chat about anything else? It's not going to offend me if you don't.
Good if everybody else is.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. I feel like this was good. Was it helpful for you guys?
I think so.
I really like
I
it.
think
Okay.
I think it kind of helped me focus like on a few things that I need to do.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to say bye before it hangs us up. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I don't want it to hang us up. So I love you guys and have a good night. And I'll
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.